Hi everybody, this is Sean from HZad Education, and today we're going to talk about Think and Grow Rich. This book is the most exciting thing I've ever had in my life. This book is the single thing that raised me from a position in life where I was really poor. I was poorer than poor. You can't even imagine how poor I was, to a point where now I run my own business and I am financially independent. And the reason I wanted to share this book with you guys is, regardless of the English teaching we do in this channel, this is just to uplift people out there who have challenges and they need a secret formula. For me, this book was the secret formula. It was the magic wand. It was the genie. It was everything. And I want to share what I learned in this book with you guys, with our followers here on YouTube. And in future, we're going to do a lot more of these videos. We're going to talk about positivity, positive affirmations, and we'll work on uplifting each other in this channel. Now, today, I'm going to talk about this book written by Napoleon Hill, one of the best books read by people anywhere in the world. If you have heard about Bob Proctor, the person who is an expert, probably the greatest mind expert in this world living today, he was a person who started a he was a cleaner. I think he was a janitor, probably, earning $5,000 a year. And he picked up this book. One of his rich friends told him, just read this book, because I read this book and I'm super rich, so just read it and follow whatever's in it. Right now, he's a multi-millionaire and he runs a streaming service, which is, I think, followed by thousands. He is an expert on mind power, and he benefited from this book, just like many others. There are countless people who have benefited from this book. In fact, a lot of YouTubers who do a review on this book, they will always mention that they read this book and they got successful, and that's why they do a review. That's the reason I'm doing this too, because there are some secrets to success here, and if everybody just follows it, there's no limitation on how abundant this whole thing is, how much you can benefit from the power of attraction around you. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing that Napoleon Hill mentions is desire. Guys, desire is the biggest thing that anyone could ever have. If you are a person who doesn't have a desire, it could be anything. It could be you might have the desire to be the best chef in town, or you might have the desire to earn $1 million every month, but you need to have a desire, and desire is the starting point of all things. When you have desire, everything else manifests around you, and desire should be made with a purpose. You should have a purpose, you should know why you want what you want, and it should all be under the barrier of ethics, under the roof of ethics and discipline. So you make sure your desires are not to scam people, but your desires to provide value and find ways on how you can help people, which will ultimately help yourself. So starting with desire, that was the first chapter in this book. And Napoleon Hill said he researched now 500 or more people who were really successful all over the world, and this is what everybody had to say. So these lessons can really be replicated by any other person as well. The first rule is start with desire. The next thing, guys, is faith. And faith is, again, something I have explained in my previous video. Faith is very different than belief. Belief is, I believe I'm going to be a millionaire. Faith is, I know I'm going to be a millionaire. So having faith mixed with desire, it creates an extraordinary amount of power and energy that we send out. We send out the vibes. You know how you meet people and you say, this guy has a great aura, this guy has positive vibes. Those are the energy signals you sent out. When you do a job interview, if you have faith, if you have belief, and if you have the desire to get that job, the employer can tell that you are a passionate person. That's what employers say, right? I want to see passion. How do you see passion? You don't see it, you feel it. And that's where the faith mixed with desire helps you out in every field in life. That energy that it sends out does wonders way beyond our wildest imaginations. Okay, the next thing is that very thing, imagination. Guys, when we were kids, we used to imagine lots of things, right? We used to imagine maybe we'll become the president one day, or maybe we'll become Michael Jackson one day. Sooner or later, what happens in life is you would see after 30, after the age of 30, people get defeated. All right, people say that we can't do this because they go through lots of failures. And yet there are people like I think the owner of KFC who was around his 50s and he kept trying all his life to establish a franchise. It took him till the age of 50 to do that. For nowadays, it's much easier for young people to be successful. We see examples of Mark Zuckerberg, a lot of young people. You don't have to have white hair anymore to be successful. You have the media exposure, and there's so many young talent, so much young talent that is out there, and they're benefiting now with their positivity. But the thing is, what everybody who is positive does is they imagine. So imagining that you will be this successful person, this leader in the future, this successful business person, any imagination will also mix up with faith and desire and help you push yourself. It'll help you foresee and visualize yourself being the kind of person you want to be. And that really gives you confidence. You guys must have had the situation where you were not confident about something. Okay, you were about to go into a job and you know you're not worth it. But people around you are cheering you. They're saying, you know, you can do it. I know you can do it. Yeah, we believe in you. We all believe in you. And when so many people believe in you, you start to imagine that you are actually worth it and you perform much better in any endeavor you undertake. And that's the magic of imagination. If you start imagining it, you start visualizing it, and you start being that person. Guys, these are not placebos. There has been research that shows if you visualize, whatever you visualize versus people who don't visualize, the ones who do imagine and visualize are 50% more likely to achieve their goals. How great is that, right? Now, let's go to our next few examples. Napoleon Hill mentioned the example of Thomas Edison, and you guys probably know this guy tried to create electricity over 10,000 times and had failed experiments. Someone asked him one time, are you still going to continue? He said, of course, yes, because I've had all these ways to know what I shouldn't do. I just got to focus on what I have to do. That's called positive thinking. We had the example of Henry Ford, the famous example. He wanted to make his V8 motor, and his engineers told him constantly, you can't do it. It is impossible. What he told them every single time was, no worries, I know you can do it. Go ahead and do it. I'll come back and hopefully you'll have done it. He came back, the engineers told him the same thing, that it is impossible. He said, no, I want you to do it. And he kept saying that, he kept pushing the engineers. He had a vision and he knew that he can push people to be more positive, to think in a way where they could achieve their maximum results. Guess what happened? He made the world's most famous motor at that time, the V8 engine, and that was an amazing example of Henry Ford. There was another example of a warrior ship, and there were people who were about to attack this enemy, I guess on an island. Now the captain of this fleet of ships, what he did was he ordered for all ships where they came in to be burnt. And they were all burned, and then he turned back and looked at the army and said, now we have no choice. We gotta win this war, otherwise we don't go back, because we have no boats. We have to take their boats, so we have to win, otherwise we all drown. And it's either win or death. And guess what happened? They won, sorry. So that's the magic of belief. When you really push yourself with a positive attitude and you're all in, things start to happen. Okay. Autosuggestion, guys. This was a huge technique mentioned in Think and Grow Rich. Autosuggestion is the same thing which is unfortunately prevalent in the society in a very negative way. So, you know how many times we face a circumstance where something is really difficult, and what we naturally start to say is, it's really difficult. I can't do it. It's impossible. What happens is you're suggesting your mind, and you're suggesting your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is an inner conscious, which you can't voluntarily change, but whatever you hear and whatever you say to yourself, it goes behind your mind and makes you feel and act that way. So if everybody tells me that I'm really ugly looking, okay, everybody tells me the same thing. Even if I'm really handsome, I'm gonna think, well, I'm ugly, and I'm gonna start to act in a very shy way with low self-esteem. But auto-suggestion in a positive way, if I keep telling myself I look handsome, I look amazing, I groom myself really well, etc., if I tell myself that, and if I am the world's most ugly person, even then I'm going to start to feel confident, I'm going to have positive vibes, and I'm going to have convinced my mind in the back of my mind, which is my subconscious, that I'm actually a really good looking person. So auto-suggestion, whatever you want to suggest yourself, whether you want to be a millionaire, repeat that 100 times a day, or at least 10 to 40 times during a period of time, maybe one time in the morning, one time in the evening, and repeat that constantly until you believe that that is your reality. When you start to feel that that is your reality, you will go out there and achieve those results. Imagine the situation. For example, let me tell you, imagine you are a successful businessman. You are an amazing businessman, a multimillionaire, and someone gives you the test and says, let me take away all your money. We'll give it back to you after a month, but we're giving you a month. Let's see if you can establish a business on your own. Now, you, as an experienced businessman, you know you have done that before and you can do it again. You will have that confidence and that ability to go out there and try your best, and you will make major moves. You will take huge risks, and you know that you have it in you. You have it in your blood, so you will push for that. Now, an ordinary person who has, again, no resources, just like you're stripped of your resources, but the ordinary person would perform much worse because he or she thinks, I'm a novice at this, I don't know how to do this, and they're thinking all negative things. But the other person, who again is in the same position, has no money, they're both being put to a test, that other person believes in himself because he has been there. So all you got to do, the poor person, what he has to do is just imagine, just visualize that he is this rich person. He has all the business talent that he needs and that he can go out there and deliver expectations. Imagine how different the results would be. So with the proper belief, you take proper action, and you can enforce a good belief system by suggesting to yourself, auto-suggestions, telling yourselves positive statements throughout the day will make you believe that you are that positive person, and it will make you a lot more confident. The other important thing Napoleon Hill mentioned was having a mastermind group. Surrounding yourself with positive people is super important. I don't know who this person was, but this was a really famous billionaire who said, and I'm sure you've heard this, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, or tell you your future, something like that. So that simply means whatever or whoever you surround yourself with, you will become that person. You will adapt to their personalities. All right, so if I'm surrounded with a mastermind group with positive people, people who know me and who can help me, and I can do the same for them, people who are joining me or who are in this group with me for the sole purpose of uplifting each other, positive minded people, people in the industry, people who are on the path of success. If I surround myself with a mastermind group, all we do is we create energy that uplifts and motivates people. You know why so many people go to these seminars, Tony Robbins seminars, or positivity training? People pay for that because they need constant motivation throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year. If you don't do that, you will forget the lessons. If you learn everything after this video and you stop watching videos like these forever, you will forget everything. It's just a habit. That is why the most successful people in this world, like Warren Buffett, I think he's the third richest person in this world, he reads 5 books a day. I don't think we can do 5 books a day normally, but a lot of people read books. A lot of successful people read many books a day. And the reason is they constantly remind themselves that we have to be positive, we have to keep motivated. And that is why autosuggestion is important, and having a mastermind group around you is important who will always uplift you. A few more things that he mentioned. He mentioned having leadership, which is positive leadership. Never lead by force, but lead by mutual cooperation. So having or being a good leader is really important in whatever field you are in. The next aspect was being agreeable and pleasing. Always be able to support people. I don't know why, but in North America, I find lots of criticism. There's criticism, people are patronizing each other. I don't know why we have to condescend each other so much. If, for example, I'm trying to, let's say someone says something, okay, and I didn't hear them the first time. So there's this very common saying, the other person responds with, did I stutter? So that obviously means I didn't stutter, how come you didn't hear? Or sometimes they'll actually say, are you deaf? I mean, why do we have that much criticism? Imagine if everybody was polite out there, they were agreeable, they were ready to accept mistakes, and they were just a little bit more patient, how different the world would be. Now, before we start saying that to other people, we want to evaluate ourselves and make sure that we are that version of the ideal person. We want to be agreeable, we want to be people who can support each other and uplift and encourage each other. And that's where the idea of being agreeable was mentioned. Decision making. Guys, this is a very important lesson I learned from Think and Grow Rich. Decision making, when it comes to that, Napoleon Hill mentions that the best leaders are the ones, listen to this carefully, the best leaders are the ones who make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Henry Ford, he had a decision. He wanted to do it. He made that decision quick. And when people said no to him, for years he never listened. He didn't want to change this decision. So when you start doing a business, for example, stop the indecision. If you have something in mind, you know something's going to benefit you, make that decision. If you want to get into a job, you want to get a promotion, you want to try something bold, make that decision quick. Indecisiveness kills success. Making quick decisions is the key that many successful people replicate. What they do is they don't change those decisions. When you make a decision, you're firm on it, you're a man of your word, and you go ahead and do it. The opposite of that is indecisiveness, and that's a curse. Never have indecisiveness. Having strong decisions also makes you persistent, and that is another very important step. Napoleon Hill, and well, not only Napoleon Hill, every person, every successful person mentions how important it is to be persistent. I have around me so many people who have so many great ideas, and they're smart people. But when I see them working, what I see them do is 1 month they're at one job, the other month they're at the other job, and they keep doing that for a long, long time. I've seen people do multiple courses in university, and they're still in university doing courses. They're not persistent with one thing. They keep quitting and changing. And that way you will never be an expert in any field because you have limited time everywhere. So pick a field, again, be decisive, pick the right thing for you, and then go ahead and be persistent. Do not be a quitter. The two good ways Napoleon Hill mentioned to be persistent were to have a mastermind group. So if you have a mastermind group, you tell everybody, hey guys, today I enrolled in this job in retail, and I'm going to be making this commission from my sales. Now everybody is going to uplift you. Now you have an expectation to satisfy from everybody, and that is going to make you persistent. That is one way to be persistent. The other way is to close negative thoughts. There are negative thoughts, and Napoleon Hill mentioned a lot of negative qualities. He mentioned actually the 6 basic fears. Seven, mind you, sorry, it was 7 negative emotions you have to avoid. And we won't go into that because we're all about positivity. We want to avoid negativity. The 7 major negative things were fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstition, and anger. Or was it 6? Well, those are the main ones. And the idea here is you want to avoid all this. You want to avoid all this negative energy because what it does is it pushes you to quit. If you have the fear of not being promoted, you will quit. If you have jealousy at work, you will quit, etc. Now, by avoiding all these negative thoughts and replacing them by positive thoughts, you would have a persistent attitude. And again, that brings us back to the habit of persistent. You will say, well, Sean, how do I just close my negative thoughts and be more positive? Very simple. Auto-suggestion. That's what we were talking about earlier. So just as soon as you have negative thoughts, start doing the auto-suggestions. Think about the good things in your life. Repeat 10 times what you are thankful for. Repeat 10 times your goals in life. Repeat the positive things. Have positive auto-suggestions, and your negative thoughts will go away like that. The other part was to be avoiding criticism. Of course, simple. Granted, I don't need to go into detail. Be agreeable, be nice to each other, avoid criticism. Planning is super important. A lot of people say there's, unfortunately, I know so many good people. It frustrates me because I know how talented they are. I know they have great ambitions, but they don't have a plan. Guys, law of attraction doesn't mean that things, well, it kind of means that things will come to you, but it doesn't mean they'll just come to you if you sit on that sofa right there and do nothing. You have to work. There has to be a work etiquette. And a work etiquette involves you to make a plan. Planning is important. What you guys should do is lay down a plan. What I usually do, this is my personal technique. I go on the Excel sheet and I name the months where I want to achieve certain targets. It's so amazing that that actually works. It works every time. At the end of every month, I'm just a few dollars off my target, but I'm always consistent. So what we can do is make a 5-year plan. Put down the year, put down the months, put down the income level. And if it's not money, put down other goals there. What you want to achieve monthly. Put it down on Excel, put it down on Word, whatever. And then at the end of the month, see yourself if you have achieved that goal or not. This is really going to push people to start focusing on making those targets work. So again, that is kind of like visualization, because you're putting it there and you're imagining you're going to get there and you have faith in that. That helps. Plus, you have a target. You set your mind to something and you focus on it. So planning is critical. It's really important. Now, there is a chapter about sex transmutation. Napoleon Hill mentions, and of course it's a common fact, that sex is the most powerful human desire, and this is something that stimulates your mind. What he suggests is transmute that into something with the same amount of passion. For example, he mentions how many successful men are there out there who are successful under the influence of a woman. So they have, a lot of successful people have really good wives who support them and who push them. And that helps them be a very persistent, a very dedicated and dominant person in whatever they do and in whatever field they're in. So the idea is, when we're stimulated by the energy of sex, that power shouldn't be used in just the physical form of it. It could be used in the excitement, and we can generate that same excitement when we think of our passions. When we think of an achievement, when we think of a plan, a roadmap we have to go to, we can think of that sex transmutation and bring that same excitement level into the other fields we're passionate about. And that, because it is the most powerful stimulant for mind, that will make you and push you more to go and achieve the goals you want to achieve. If you have that mind intensity when you visualize, imagine how strongly you will visualize your path and your destiny, and that will again push you. Guys, the other thing is the sixth sense. We don't want to ignore the power of the sixth sense. We know we have it. Animals have it. Dogs, I was with my friends yesterday, and their dog can sense anyone who's at the door, and that dog is sitting like meters away from the door in the other room, but the dog can sense it. Humans have sixth sense too. When you know something bad is going to happen, you sense it a lot of times, and when you know something positive is going to happen, we can sense it. Sixth sense is more like gut feeling. When you have the sixth sense, it gives you a lot of warnings, and we really have to listen to our warnings with the sixth sense. At the same time, there's a quality which is called hunches. A lot of famous poets and writers, they have hunches. They have an idea in their mind. When they're sleeping, they get a dream and they get a message in their mind. A lot of successful business people have ideas, and I've had a lot of hunches, like out of nowhere. I'm watching TV here in my living room, and I'm gonna have an idea, and I'm gonna put it in work the next day, and I'm gonna make thousands in a month. And those hunches, those ideas that come to you from the sixth sense, from your gut feeling, listen to those voices. When you get good ideas, write them down. Even though they might feel useless, just write them down, analyze them some other day, and you will realize how many ideas just come in our mind, but we're sometimes just so close because we don't care. But listen to the sounds in your brain, because sometimes your brain tells you some really good things. Sixth sense is the brain power that Napoleon Hill mentioned. Among this, and we're finishing up here, brain power and subconscious mindset was really emphasized in this book. We have all heard about our brain capacity and how we use so less when there's so much more to use. That is true. We know the cells that are in our brain, how they're organized, and there are billions of cells, billions of neurons just firing up in there, and we're not using all of them. So the brain power that we have, the subconscious mind, the energy that we have in our thoughts and our feelings is phenomenal. When we unleash that, just by the example of visualization I mentioned, you can achieve over 50% results. You're more likely, 50% more likely to achieve results than without visualization. So when you release that energy, when you think positively, when you make plans, when you use your sixth sense, and you think and hear the ideas your powerful brain is giving you, and you mix all of that with ultimate faith and belief, you are destined and bound to achieve phenomenal results. You don't believe me? Look at me. I was poor, under debt. I remember my bank account was minus $1,700 or something. Not five, 6 or 7 years ago. It was terrible. It was a bad situation. However, I grabbed this book. I read everything that there is in it in accordance with positive thinking, with goal achievement, with the law of attraction, with the subconscious mind, and I was able to implement all those principles. Because I thought, and you guys should think about this too, what is there to lose? I'm not paying money to anybody. I'm not investing too much time. It's just a few hours of reading the book. There's nothing that could go wrong. The only thing that could happen is I could learn and change my current situation. And if you guys are stuck, or if you guys just want to proceed more and you want to develop yourselves more, pick up a version of this book. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And if you don't have time to read that, just watch this video again and again and really try to understand the concepts that I have explained. Implement them in your life and you would see what happens to you, as what happened to me in a few years was phenomenal. Once again, I have a very successful life now, a very good business, and my future is set. I am financially very independent and very happy thanks to the lessons I've learned from this book. And I just can't push it enough. Like, if you're out there, you're struggling, or you just want to be successful, you gotta read this book. You owe this to yourself and everybody around you who believes in you to be successful. And grab a copy. This will really help out. I'm not doing any affiliate marketing for Napoleon Hill. I'm not even sure if he's alive anymore. But this is something I really want people to learn and benefit from, because I've seen it for myself. It works. All right, guys, if you guys have any questions, any comments, feel free to let me know. Comments, of course, they're down below. The link for our website is in the description. For all our services, you can access our website. If you like this channel, you like the video, you like the content I posted today, please subscribe, let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care and stay blessed.